fixing to start kicking ass, just like it said at the beginning of the program.
Man of the hour, tower of power, too sweet to be sour.
Sending your ass on the jabroni jet to the other side of the territory, brother.
The Alabama Hammer.
Nightmares on the best part of my day.
The goods from the woods.
Hot damn!
Welcome to the Goods from the Woods. My name is Rivers Langley.
Pat Riley.
Let's get that man of the hour, tower of power, too sweet to be sour.
And today we are joined by our very special guest, comedian
Eric Moore.
Eric Moore. Oh, good. Yeah, finally. Somebody knows to say their goddamn name. I've done this. We've done over 70 episodes of this show, and I say, with our guest, and then they just sit there.
All you have to do is tell him. Well, Faso ain't too bright, you understand, so he needs simple clues and things like that.
I had to literally tell Faso to say his name.
One of the residents of the Disgraceland complex.
That's right. Yeah, I was going to say, comedian, Iowan, next door neighbor, homie for life, Eric Moore is here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. So you'll have to do a little bit of, if you're listening to this and you haven't heard our entire oeuvre, do a little bit of homework. Go back to episode 20. We did an episode with our friend Andrew Lopez called The Ruckus Crew. Andrew Lopez grew up in a town called Pella, Iowa, and he had one of the funniest comments ever about it. He was like, our school is weird because, you know, the goths and the emo kids were like the popular ones. And then Andrew goes, we used to shove jocks into coffins, which was such a great line. But Eric grew up in the same town.
Yeah, and the goth kids, the punk kids, and the emo kids were like somehow on the top of the food chain.
It's so
that, and Andrew and his friends were like the people that me and my friends idolized, and we're like, is this how?
That's so crazy. I'm not going to stop until I've interviewed everybody in this town because it's so Pella, Iowa is so interesting. It's where they make the windows and doors. First of all,
Yeah, my dad works
For
there.
everywhere?
wait, your dad works for Pella?
Yeah, he's handles national accounts for Pella windows and
That's
doors.
fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So whenever you see a new house going up, it has the big yellow sticker on the windowsills that says Pella. That's where they make all that stuff.
Oh, they all come from Iowa.
From Pella, Iowa.
There
Yeah,
you go.
So that's like the thing everybody will know the town from is they make storm windows and doors. And
Is that the only thing that's in Pella, Iowa? Does like everybody work for Pella windows and doors?
Yeah, like there's one other company that's called Vermeer that does large farm equipment for like
yeah.
the whole world. Yeah, but
So
it's
when
like
you see a
those two
combine,
things.
you know it's from Pella.
yeah.
Yes.
And then it's also known for being, I mean, I think we just need to go to Pella at some point. I'm so fascinated by this town because Andrew Lopez, first of all, it's funny because there's two great comedians from the same town living in my apartment complex. But also Andrew and you both kind of talk about this place as this, it's like a Narnia, like mythic land where, first of all, it's a themed Dutch, right? There's like, they have a tulip festival. There's windmills. They kind of like idolize kind of like, 1600s Dutch sort of aesthetic.
Why do they do that?
Because it makes the town money every year when we have this festival. Like thousands of people come just to eat funnel cake and see
Traditional Dutch funnel cake.
and see. Well, and I don't know. Did Andrew talk about the parades?
No.
You have to march. So until kindergarten through 5th grade, you have to march in the parade and wear a little. You have to.
Man,
Like,
all
if you're
children,
enrolled in
it's
the school
mandatory.
system.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, even if you're not Dutch, like me or like I look Dutch.
Yeah.
Andrew doesn't look Dutch.
Right,
but
right.
You have to wear a little like
Do you have to wear the little shorts and everything?
little knickers and
Yeah, oh,
Is this why they all become goths and things?
Yeah, of course this is why. You must march in our parade. Huh? Put on these knickers and start walking.
I mean, they could dress up like Van Dyke or something, and that would be badass. Feel like remember that Rembrandt thing, the Night Patrol, or whatever it's called?
Yeah. Oh,
That'd be badass.
they all get the pseudo like pilgrim outfits.
Yeah,
on
and maybe a harquebus or something like that.
that would be pretty dope.
Go as the 15th century Amsterdam militia or something.
So they made you march in this parade.
So the benefit is it's always on a Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. It's a 3-day festival, and you get out of school at like 11 a.m. on Thursday and Friday.
Yeah.
And then you have to march in the parade at 11, like at 12, and then again at like 2:30 or 3.
How long is
They
this
have a
fucking
matinee parade.
Yeah.
You have you have like 2 day parades. There's a night parade too.
God.
And there's a little song that's like this old recording that they start up from like God knows when. That like it's like
on a wax cylinder and shit.
and it's on speakers through the town. It's like, we're proud we came from Holland to the USA. We found a place in Iowa where we could stay. And then later on, they change Iowa. They pronounce Iowa, Iowa, which I think is the original pronunciation we stole from the Native Americans, probably. But
it rhymes better too.
Yeah, it's like, oh, and then that's the intro, and then it jumps into we're the kids from Pella, Iowa, USA, and you hit your wooden shoes.
Oh no!
You had wooden shoes?
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
That is straight out of Pinocchio.
It's truly like the every time I go back after not having lived there for like 4 or 5, 6 years now, it's like gets weirder that I'm like, oh fuck, like I grew up here and it just seemed fine.
They still do that to this day?
That the festival's been around for 80 years.
Oh god!
So every kindergartner through 5th grader to this day still marches in the parade and sings that song?
Unless you have cool parents that let you skip it, like my friend Nick Dorman's parents.
They wrote him a note.
You write a
Pella
note saying
school
you're
system.
sick.
My son is too fucking cool for this.
Yeah,
I've dressed my son in a Ramones t-shirt.
I'm allergic to tulips.
I think my favorite little detail is that it's on speakers blasting throughout the town like it's North Korea or something.
Shitty old speakers.
Yeah.
Also, if the tulips, because sometimes they bloom too early or too late, and it's just a 3-day window that people come to see them, so they will fly them in from other places and plant them like in the night because people come.
Was this town founded by Dutch people, or was this just is this just a gimmick?
Oh no! Well, yes and yes. Like it was founded by Dutch people, and also Wyatt Earp lived there for a little while.
Oh wow!
His house is
The hell with this Dutch festival? Why come they ain't got a Wyatt Earp festival?
I know.
Well, they do. Somebody dresses up as Wyatt Earp, and they have an Abe Lincoln too.
Okay. Because he was in Iowa.
Yeah.
Well-known Iowan Abe
Do they have
Lincoln.
John Wayne? Because he's from Iowa.
That's right.
You know they should, and they don't.
You would think they would have a John Wayne over
I know
on-
they're trying to make sisters out of this. Kids, and where's it called again? Tulip Land, Pelham, Iowa.
That's
right.
Trying to make them all sisters with those wooden shoes and stuff, and they could be coming out as John Wayne, Wyatt Earp, and Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah, man. It's really dope though when you get to 6th grade. You don't have to be in unless you're in band. Then you have to be in the parade. But then you just get to hang out with your friends and like maybe like kiss a girl like by the nacho stand. It's like a very.
I love
part of growing up.
The idea of your whole like childhood is like finding a way to escape the
Tulip ritual.
So if you're a cool enough, so how do you get out of the parade? Is there a thing where you have to bring a doctor's note that has to be notarized and has to be approved by the mayor or something like that?
I mean, I don't think it was that strict. But I mean,
There's a tribunal.
Yeah.
you were. I mean, like people were like,
Yeah.
The Star Chamber.
This youngin' wants out of our parade.
He has flat feet.
please.
He cannot walk. He will walk funny.
Everybody's gonna walk funny or growing up with them wooden shoes. It's like that thing they do in China where they bind the girl's feet or something.
Do you have to provide your own wooden shoes, or is there like a warehouse in town where all the wooden shoes are stored?
There are wooden shoe makers in town. I mean, we have a meat market that's been open since 18 something, but the furniture store my mom works at, Boats Home Furnishings, has been around since like 18 something. I don't know, but
God.
It's like a working Disneyland for this festival. And there's a 5K, a couple like the Wednesday before the festival, where people just run a 5K, but some people run in wooden shoes.
I was going to ask that.
Their feet get rocked.
Yeah.
Ouch. Jesus, why?
Yowza.
Just because
You wouldn't be able to run another 5K.
Do they
after
do
you
that in
did one.
Holland?
No.
Do they have a dike and somebody kid sticks their finger in it or something?
Say that's some kid's job for the week. It's like, oh, you want out of the parade? Well, you know what you got to do.
Finger in the dike.
Stick your finger in the dike for the week.
What do you do if your hands are full?
well, if you stay, I mean, if you're one of the kids who's really into it, and then you just stay in the town and get married and stuff like that, there are other roles like street cleaner. There's people holding the buckets. There's Dutch dancing. It is insane. You just need to see it.
How far is this from Des Moines?
This is only a swift 50-minute drive from Des Moines.
When is the festival usually?
It's May. It's always like the first week of May.
Because tulips.
I'm really wanting to.
Yeah.
go. Like I really want to figure out a way to.
We
go.
could do like a
This-
live taping.
That's what I'm saying. Like we should all we should all go, and then you and Andrew as well, and just
Yeah.
do like a weekend and just interview all the.
Imagine the amount of people we'd get, because apparently Andrew Lopez is like royalty.
Right,
in-
right, yeah. We could probably get a key to the city from the mayor if we know Lopez. I think.
I mean, Lopez is king everywhere he goes, especially in Pella.
God, how do we get in the parade?
Yeah.
To have our own like our Good from the Woods banner.
Can I
and shit?
dress as Rembrandt?
You could easily do that. If
I
you
know. I actually kind
shave
of look
a little
like
bit.
him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll dress as Little Debbie. We'll make. We'll make it
Oh,
happen.
you're gonna give me a notion.
Have
Rivers.
you
Be
either of
careful.
you been in a parade before? Because I imagine you have, because you were a Boy Scout.
Oh, and I was in marching band. Oh, I've done double duty on parades before.
What did you play in the marching band? I never knew you were a marching band guy.
Have we not talked about this? Yeah, I
play the tuba?
I did play the tuba.
I can call him.
Was it my beard or my fat? Yeah. Yes, I played the tuba, and I was awful at it because here's the thing with the tuba: you're the most visible person on the field, so you have to be good because you're the loudest and everyone can see you. So if you suck, like I did, they will demote you down to other positions on the field. Like for instance, my first demotion, I was given a saxophone with no reed, and I marched with the saxophones. So I wasn't actually playing the thing. I just had it up to my mouth and was marching with the saxophone. And then my next demotion came a couple of games later. I got knocked down to clarinet with no reed. So I was holding a clarinet that didn't work and marching around. And then the last demotion, and this is like the ultimate insult. Do you guys know what the fish is?
Yeah, they live in the water and things.
No, but in the context of a marching band, the fish is that like it's shaped like a fish. It's like a long piece of wood with its ridges on it, and you take a drumstick and you run the drumstick up and down the ridges. And it goes rip, 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 rip. I got knocked down to the fish. That was the last.
Well, at least you had a live instrument this time.
Yeah, but I was on the sideline. So when you play with the marching band, they put the general percussion on the sideline, so the big bells and the timpani and stuff like that. And I was just standing there with a fish on a fucking football field. So you can imagine how deafening that noise was.
I thought the next step down was like you're with the piccolo players, but it's actually a Slim Jim or something.
yeah. No, but I was in.
But the promotion from if you're really good at tuba, do you get promoted to sousaphone?
No, this was sousaphone. Yeah, in a marching band, the tubas all play sousaphone.
Okay.
So you got to specify that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah. So when you play, I played tuba in concert band, but on the marching band field, you always play a sousaphone. And in junior high school, the sousaphone is like the big, like the plastic, or not, maybe not plastic, but the white sousaphones. And then in high school, you get bumped up to the brass sousaphone. But yeah, no, the parades I was in. Well, as a Boy Scout, the one that we were just in the back of a pickup truck, and this was years ago. I'm not this horrible of a person anymore, but we were throwing candy out, and we would just
Which is littering, and
well,
that's
you know, we would take the candy out, and we would lick it, and then wrap it back up and toss it, and then watch other smaller
Oh, you
kids.
rotten kids.
We were in like third or fourth grade, and we would watch even smaller kids just eat it. It was the funniest
they should
shit
have
ever.
banned you from the Weebelos for that.
Yeah. I thought I was supposed to build character or something.
Yeah, well, it didn't take, or at least not at that point. But
You get that Bobcat badge, and you think you're king shit of the universe.
That's what it was Bobcats.
Do they have an asshole badge? 'Cause you earned it that day.
I think that's what a tenderfoot is.
Tenderfoot, yeah, yeah. But no, we that was the Boy Scout parade. We were just in the back of a pickup truck. We didn't even walk in that one. The one I was so shitty in middle school that I was carrying the banner. They wouldn't even give me a tuba in middle school. I held the banner.
Did you ever play a live instrument at anything?
The one time I did, and this is when it counts. You get to, like we do these big school trips, and if your parents are willing to throw down the money, you get to go. We went to Paris and played New Year's Eve 2000, and then New Year's Day 2001. And the 2000, the New Year's Eve parade, we were in a village called Chantilly, which is famous for the chateau. There is where the Allies set up their, like, that's where Patton and Eisenhower and all those guys, when they took back France, that was their center of command on the mainland. of
Okay,
Europe.
Chateau Chantilly was it by the chance?
Yeah, it was a little, chateau redundancy. Chateau Chantilly. But anyway, we walked through the streets of Chantilly, and the streets are all cobblestones. And in marching marching band shoes. That shit,
Dinkles?
horrible. It's like awful. So I slipped at one point and busted my ass, and my whole back of my uniform was just douched in mud. So I was walking.
Well, that is
around.
a French word.
Yeah, it is.
But at least it wasn't wooden like clogs.
Right. But
What
then
are- the shoes are called Dinkles, right? Or some funny name like that, ain't they?
the marching band shoes.
Yeah.
Ours were just like white. Like they almost looked like Red Wing loafers or something, but they were
Okay, I thought
white.
they had some silly name like that because there's one company that
they were
makes
called
them.
Dinkles. I think that was a company name at our school.
Oh, maybe they were called.
So
Dinkles,
you were
and I
in the
just wasn't-
marching band
I was
too?
not, but people made jokes about Dinkles being like testicles, and you know.
Oh, but the one detail I did want to drop about the music selection, I walked through the streets of Paris on New Year's Day, 2001, and played on a tuba "Oya Como Va" and "Pretty Fly for a White Guy." That was our music selection.
Ringing in the Millennium Rivers.
Bop, 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 bop. Bop, bop, bop.
This is why they hate Americans.
I
you
know. Oh, I know. It was.
But I'd imagine in France that they would like The Offspring because it is that kind of.
Yeah, well, not on a ball, 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 ball. It was, yeah, it's boring as fuck. And also, I got in trouble for throwing a surge into Danny Yeehaw's sousaphone. So,
Where do you get a surge in France?
well, this was in Spanish Fort, Alabama.
Oh, okay.
That was just another marching.
What was his last name?
Danny Yeehaw. He was Lebanese. So his last
I
name
thought he was a cowboy. or
his
something.
last name was, but we just all called him Danny Yeehaw.
Why did they keep you on the band, Ripper?
Why did you quit?
Why, I thought they would haze you out like and make you
Oh no,
like
I
a
was-
drum major
No, that's
so
the
you'd
thing.
give up.
How bad was the rest of this band?
Well, here's the thing: is like with that band, Auburn High School, the way it was set up, you could just take marching band and then you didn't have to do PE. So I just was in marching band for a year and then I just didn't have to do PE. That was the only reason I did it.
What's the problem with PE?
Get healthy.
I don't like it.
Well, I don't like it either, but you know,
like it.
it's better than wearing dinkles. You know.
Good night. Have you ever been in a parade before?
Cool. Good night. Don't do parades. No way. I'd do this one in Pelham, though, if I got to be Rembrandt. But good night. Don't do no parades, man.
I mean, my mom's
should
on the
go.
board. I can
You can get us
booked.
in? Oh, dude, we'll go.
The ladies like Rembrandt, right?
Oh yeah. Oh,
wanna get
especially
mad.
those.
Have they had a podcast in the parade before? Because that would be amazing.
They have not. I guarantee you, nobody knows what a podcast.
That's
is.
perfect.
They're
We'll
all
be the
indie.
introduction. We'll be
We're the radio.
it's like the radio, but the internet. Oh my God, we have to do this.
I haven't been in a parade in a while.
Yeah, I was
Which
gonna say,
one were
have
you
have
in,
been
Pat?
in
Oh,
there?
I was in a parade. I was in the St. Mary's, Georgia 4th of July parade. The main event of the parade was the lawnmower races, which was always hilarious.
Did you race a lawnmower?
No, I didn't. Dude, you had to invest so much money in your lawnmower to even compete in the lawnmower races. One guy won it 4 years in a row, and he got his awards rescinded because it turned out he was using a non-regulation engine. He basically took the engine out of a Geo Metro and put it in his
They don't
riding
look under
lawnmower.
the trunk before this thing?
I guess not. You
Not
know?
even using like a two-stroke or nothing, just like a fucking real
Yeah,
car
it was
engine.
insane. There was like sabotage. People would like sabotage each other's lawnmowers and stuff. It was for real. You know, this was like
So wait, was the parade the race or was the
no,
there
the
was
parade was before the race. So I don't know
Okay.
if the parade was in celebration of the 4th of July or if it was in celebration of the lawnmower races. Because it was like one of those places like everybody worked at the paper mill, so you needed something to live for. You know, it was like I basically lived in a John Mellencamp song. You know, so I
Blood on the Scarecrow. Was
Yeah,
that
I
one?
know. I was in a parade when I was God, it might have been 11 or I mean, I think I was 12, and we had a float for my karate studio.
Fuck yeah, dude.
And the float consisted of our sensei, his Nissan mini truck, and it was
His pup, the pup.
yeah, it was it might have been a Mitsubishi Mighty Max. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay.
But it was filled. The bed was filled with boards. And what we did is we walked the
sweet.
entire length of downtown breaking boards.
Oh, so other floats have to run over all the...
Yeah, we would we'd have to throw them back in the truck.
Were they gimmick boards?
No, they were for real. And
That's pretty badass.
Great.
It's just I remember these two little junior rednecks being like, "Oh, these guys are wusses," and my karate instructor took a board and smashed it over his head and just went right in front of them.
This sounds like
and
a
these
really
two kids,
great parade.
These two kids peed their pants. They just wrecked their pants.
Terrorizing the town folk with a display of strength.
Oh yeah, it was awesome. And
This is a bitchin' parade.
and the funniest part was that the karate instructor was just like, we have to have a finale. And his finale was going to be we had the 1 inch thick white pine boards, which are not too tough to break. Anybody can break a white pine board if they know, hit it in the grain and all that sort of thing. It's very easy. But so it's kind of like one of those gimmick test of strength sort of things. It looks cool. It looks cool, but it's actually, if you do the technique right, it's fine. But he thought that it would be a great idea that at the end he would do a flying jump sidekick.
Fuck
Over 3 of us, maybe 3 or 4 of us. So we all had to get down in crouch positions, like turtle positions, and he was going to jump over us and break a 3-inch thick piece of oak.
Oh boy.
Or maybe 2 or 3 inches. I don't know what it was. And it was raining. And he he ran and he hit the board and it was wet and his foot slipped and he wrecked himself so hard. And it was at the end of the parade where everybody congregates and he just wrecks himself and it was just you have undone so much badassery.
Let me tell you what I love about that. Ostensibly, the reason for a small business to march into a parade would be to advertise the small business. So therefore, the students breaking boards, that makes sense. It's if you pay me money, I can have your kids doing this. But that he decides to take the glory at the end for himself
and
is
then just
great.
totally busts it.
It's not one of his students, it's him just being well, you saw my students, but here comes fucking Bubba. It's just gonna...
Oh, my dad was holding the board and he nearly pissed himself laughing. It was so funny.
I didn't realize he was on the float too.
Oh, my dad was the coordinator. My dad oversaw the cutting of all the boards, He
was the saw man.
Yeah, he was the saw man.
Has there been any famous shit shows in the Pella parade?
Well, I was just gonna say, weirdly, amongst all the antiquated costumes and everything, our local taekwondo studio does the same thing.
Yes.
Yeah. And this kid, Ebby, tried to do the breaking the board thing and just broke his leg really badly.
Oh,
and he was in a cast seriously for 2 or 3 years of high school. The whole time he was always in crutches, and it led to one of the worst jokes that I've ever heard. It was the most celebrated worst joke I've ever heard. He's sitting in health class sophomore year, and he's icing his knee and leg and whatever, so his pants are all wet, just on the knee though. And this kid, Carson, goes, "Hey, Ebby, looks like your knee took a piss." And everybody died. The teacher died. This is a no-nonsense teacher, too, who's just even that, I got to give it up for that. Fuck.
That is pretty funny.
Oh, man.
See, that would be that's why I don't think I could ever cut it as a teacher, because I would be the first person just dying at that. Looks like your knee took a piss. It's so funny.
Well, maybe if none of your students take karate, you'll be okay.
Right.
I love whenever karate studios or taekwondo studios advertise themselves, because it's always cheese-tastic. There's always just out of the float is the Mortal Kombat theme playing on repeat.
I was going to say,
every demo team that's the go-to.
If your karate instructor won't have a big finish for the parade, he should have done a fatality or something.
But
rip somebody's head off or something like that.
I remember when I was a kid, I used to visit my grandparents in South Jersey, and there's this guy that's the karate baron of the tri-states area. Oh, no. His name is Tiger Schulman.
I love Tiger Schulman because of all the cool moves you learn. Because I'm more confident, bullies never bother me.
It makes me feel invincible.
Tiger Schulman's, you're gonna love it. Try a free class and get a free pair of gloves.
Tiger Schulman's Karate, and it's
Tiger Schulman,
and it's the most insane commercial ever because it's like the quickest cuts. Like he cuts every like 3/4 of a second is a cut.
Yeah.
So it's just like a bunch of kicks and breaking stuff, and the last shot, it's like him breaking like 5 giant blocks of ice. And it's like this music's just going, and he's just like, wow, and he breaks it, and he just goes, Tiger Schulman's Karate.
He cuts it before you see him go, oh.
Oh, my hand! So the guy fucked his leg up like in the middle of the parade, like while it was going on.
Yeah, right in front of the furniture store my mom works at. She had to rush out and like pick him up and lead him over and stuff. And
well, fortunately, there were plenty of beds to lie him down on.
That's right.
Yeah.
But the beds are on like the 4th floor of the store.
So you put him on a rocking horse.
Yeah. In the city, they make elevators.
Yeah. That's fucking awful.
He peed his knee.
His knee took a piss
straight through his knee.
So
that kid was funny. What was his name again?
The kid that broke his.
No, the kid with that.
Oh, the other kid,
knee piss.
Carson. I don't know what he's up to now, but he wasn't bad. He wasn't a bad guy.
After you've done that, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, you're a legend.
Yeah. I've done my part.
You can retire into a warm, fuzzy place in everyone's memory.
That's right. Well, and the kid who broke his leg was featured in. One of my friends tried to do a blog in 6th grade, and it was just like him making fun of everybody. And so this kid, Ebby, is the only kid like in the world with that name. The blog just tears him apart. My friend can't remember the passwords from like 6th grade.
Oh God!
So every time this kid Ebby is a job interview, he calls my friend Michael, who started the blog. He's like, seriously, I need you to get rid of that blog.
Yeah.
Like, I cannot. Like,
yeah, I don't know the password.
And it just makes him look like shit, I'm sure.
Oh, God, that's awful.
It's like reveals who Ebby's crush is and like internet lingo and curse words. Like, I mean, a 6th grader with an internet.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is going to be the...
Why you should never cyberbully people that's listening out there.
Yeah, well, it's just going to be...
yeah, you're preventing a guy from getting a job because apparently, he has a crush on Lisa and, eats his own boogers.
Yeah. But if you've seen how Lisa turned out, though, you'd be glad that he went with booger eating instead. Because them boogers will never do you wrong.
Pella's a small town. Do you have any small town hijinks?
Yeah, actually, a same friend who started the blog, Michael. One particular night, we were like setting off firecrackers and like in mailboxes and shit like that. Just like pretty tame stuff.
Always a great activity.
Yeah,
it's the least harmful federal crime.
Very, very wholesome. Oh man, I'm gonna tell this story even if I get in legal trouble. I don't give a shit.
We can bleep.
It's really good.
We can bleep names. It's
okay,
fine.
So one night we're just driving around like listening to music, and he's the one driving. We're a couple other people. We're like 16, 17. He parks a car in an affluent neighborhood. He runs out of the car and he picks up like a rock, like from someone's landscaping, like a pretty good sized rock. And he goes over to this random car, like it's clearly like a shitty high school looking car, but it's like a red car, like I don't know, like a Grand Am or something.
Yeah.
And he's holding the rock over the back of the windshield, and he's like, guys, it'd be so funny if I like dropped this and it like scratched up the back of the window, and we were like, it'd be really funny, Michael. Like thinking like, of course he knows that wouldn't like just scratch his fucking brake.
Right.
And he's just
unless it was a big diamond.
Right.
Yeah. So he's dancing around with the rock, fucking around for a long time. We're like, it's like 3 a.m. We're like, let's go back to our friend's house and go to sleep or watch a movie or something. Like, suddenly he just drops it and it just crashes through. The whole back windshield's totally gone. And like, it's one of those things where you look at him and you like see him realizing that he's never done anything and this is something.
Yeah.
And just all of that in his face, he's like, oh fuck. And then it did have an alarm. It was like a shitty car. And so a little thing was like some little thing was going off, and then their house lights came on.
Oh, fuck.
Like in the time that he's running back to the car and we start to drive away. And as we're driving away, I realize the nicest girl in school, I was like, I'd been to her house like once, and as we're driving away, I realized it's her house.
I was gonna say you've been to her house once, but you haven't noticed the car.
It was like night, and we came in a different way or whatever. But as we're driving away, I'm like, I know that's her car.
Yeah.
Holy fuck, she's so like she's just would never hurt anyone.
Yeah.
And then I felt so much shame about it because like the next, or not the next day, maybe a couple days later, my mom was like, yeah, you hear about that car? And that
Of course. It's such a small town. Yeah.
And I was like, nope. And she was like, well, I just really hope that you don't know anything about that.
Oh, God. Oh, she knew. Yeah.
Well, the moral of the story is you got to get the felonies over with when you're young enough to get away with.
Yeah,
that's right.
No, that was always my thing. When I was working as a substitute teacher, especially like when you do like 8th grade, 9th grade, you're like, if the secret ever gets out that what you do during this time period will never affect you really in your adult life beyond like murder and stuff, society will crumble. Like if these kids realize that, like, first of all, your grades up until 9th grade don't fucking matter at all, then why bother? Just be a complete, anarchist in school.
Well, because there's they've created the social construction of the permanent record.
Right, the permanent record, yeah. Which is horseshit.
Where is it?
There is no permanent record.
That guy on Doug that was always threatening it.
Oh yeah,
Mr. Bone.
Yeah.
Everybody on that show had a dirty name. There's Mr. Bone. There was Mr. and Mrs. Dink, wasn't there?
Principal Butt Savage.
Butt Savage, yeah. Roger
Skeeter.
Klotz.
That's got to be dirty. That's probably dirty and ditch.
Patty mayonnaise.
Yeah, white, creamy, and easy to spread. You understand? She was fucking funny. She literally.
Yeah. Boom goes
She talked like a 60-year-old woman. Hey, y'all. Hey, I would have went
She
for
was
the other
weirdly
girl.
Southern.
She was.
Yeah.
Well, I think they were supposed to be in Richmond, weren't they? That's what somebody told me.
I don't know. I mean, I always thought like Bluffington was supposed to be in Indiana.
Yeah, but I read that like the guy who made it was from Richmond, so that certain things.
So she's the only Southern one. Like
Well, maybe
Baby
she-
Bluff is old money, and she doesn't have a Southern accent.
That's true. Well, maybe it's like the Simpsons. They have I guess he's a carpetbagger. They get the mayor with the Kennedy accent and all that.
Yeah, that's true.
I would, despite the purple skin, I think BB would have been a better choice than Patty. You understand?
She was hot.
And in Brand Spanking New Doug, the high school is shaped like her head.
Really?
Do you
See,
remember?
Brand
show
Spanking New Doug.
stunk.
Yeah, that was where this isn't Doug anymore.
And Connie lost a bunch of weight. Where it was like you've made her indistinguishable from all the other characters. She was awesome because she was different.
Wasn't Roger rich now?
Yeah, because his mom hit the lotto. So it was like,
Speaking of which, Powerball in Melbourne, Florida.
yeah, I have a Melbourne, Florida mailbox story actually. So
hit me.
Yeah, so this I wasn't.
Who doesn't?
I wasn't. I didn't participate in this first of all. So I don't have any sort of culpability. But I've witnessed this on a number of occasions. In Florida, there's a big thing, especially where I'm from in Florida. There's a big thing with manatee mailboxes.
What, they set them up outside the lake or something? So they
No,
can get
it's
their
a
mail?
giant concrete manatee.
Oh, the humanity.
That's holding a mailbox in its flippers. That's like a thing. You'll see that at a lot of places. Occasionally, you might see like a bottlenose dolphin or whatever.
Okay.
But
The rebels.
yeah. Which I don't know how a bottlenose dolphin could hold a mailbox in its flippers, but I digress. So there's this part of this town, Palm Bay, which is the town south of Melbourne, and there's this neighborhood called Lockmar, where if you're really into doing painkillers recreationally, that's your place. And there was a guy that lived on my friend's road who was a sexual offender.
He had to paint his manatee red.
So this group of redneck vigilantes.
Did he get a lot of Subway coupons or anything?
So there was this group of just these rednecks, like these young rednecks that had this giant truck, and they made it their mission to just destroy this guy's manatee mailbox. So they did it once. They tied a chain around it, drove it and like drug it down the street and stuff
Yeah.
like that. It's made of concrete, so they had to pull it out of the ground.
yeah.
And there's this giant concrete manatee. But he would replace it, and then he would put like all these little obstacles around it. Like he put an alarm on it, and it was just like this running thing. And so these guys were in these red, and it would always like they'd go down the street. I saw it one time, and they Tiger Trainer pulled it down there, and they all got out, and they're like, yeah, and like high fiving. But Melbourne Beach, Florida, one of the Powerball tickets.
The three towns were the weirdest combination of towns of people who hit the lotto. Chino Hills, California.
Was this Matthew Curdy?
Yeah, Matthew also home to the closest CC's Pizza to Los Angeles.
Is that true? Can we go? Oh man,
Yeah.
I have to go to CC's Pizza like once every 2 years to remind myself why I don't. You know,
Do they have CC's in Pella?
They have it in Iowa, not in Pella.
Oh.
But we would get that after speech competitions. I was in speech.
Was it like an all goth speech team or an all emo speech
We
team?
had. I mean, Andrew was in it, so
yeah.
It was normal weird like theater kids.
Okay.
There was. I feel like there was some like alt kids that were like too cool for speech.
I just imagine like, where they have like the prisoners against the Harvard debate team. I imagine the Pella, Iowa goths
versus
debate team.
Goths versus emos.
Yeah. Just killing it in the Barclay Forum.
Yeah.
But no, so Chino Hills.
The other two, Chino Hills, Melbourne Beach, Florida.
Melbourne Beach, Florida. I have used the bathroom in that Publix where that ticket was sold many times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And finally, a town of 6,000 people called Munford, Tennessee.
Yeah.
So that's about what they say, 60 miles northwest of.
Is that where that shitty band is from?
Mumford? No, that's Mumford. This is Mun, Munford. No, you're thinking of Mumford and Sons.
Yeah.
No, they're from England because they're.
Well, that's why they stink so bad.
Yeah. Well, I've said this before, but the guy from Mumford and Sons, his dad is in the House of Lords. So his dad was just like, my son needs a Grammy. And
See,
that
this
was
is why they need levelers. Or who were the other chartists? They need
Yeah.
people like that again. Wat Tyler.
Yeah. So I could know the person that won Powerball.
It might be the Manatee guy.
It might be no, he's from Palm Bay.
See, the smart thing we should have done is announce the winners before it happened, not after, and then everybody would know we got the skinny on future events on this show. Because you could have just said, Pat, it's at a Publix, if you will, in Melbourne, and you would have been right.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so knowing the people that live in Melbourne Beach, the Powerball winner might lead to the largest private collection of jet skis in the world. I think that's where we're going to end up, guys.
You know what they say? It's always the wrong people that have all the money.
Yeah.
Well, and also a lot of cement Spuds McKenzie statues.
Some of those are vintage.
Yeah.
It's going to end when the guy that wins decides to take out his prize Sea-Doo after smoking bath salts.
The finest bath salt.
The finest.
Artisanal bath salt.
The biggest bath salt rock ever. It isn't even a re-rock
It's
bath salt. It is one pure bath salt rock.
He gets a recreation of the aggro crag made out of bath salts.
And then he just
Smokes
smokes
his way to the top.
Smokes it with a World War II era flamethrower and takes his Sea-Doo out like a Viking funeral and crashes into the Melbourne Causeway.
Do you know way down up on the Swanee, talking about the river, yeah, you know, so far away, oh yeah, do you know that's where my heart is a turning, oh, ever, and that's where the old folks stay. Oh, far from my folks back home. Yeah.
You used to work at Jimmy John's.
Yeah.
Oh, that place
Jimmy
ain't
John's
bad.
and Pella?
Oh yeah. It was new my senior year of high school.
How slammed was it?
Oh man, not
much?
that. It was. I mean, like just the first 2 weeks, people freaked out because it's a new thing.
That's a normal thing in small towns when the new chain store comes in.
Oh,
People
dude.
Yeah.
lose their stuff.
When the Jimmy John's opened in Auburn, it was like right around my birthday. And my mom was like, oh, where do you want to go for your birthday? And I was like, oh, well, there's this new place downtown. Let's go there. And we walked in and I was like, let's go somewhere else.
Yeah.
This is not what I thought it was.
Well, that was the problem though, is because they they always have like a million people working at once because it's all
Because they give it to you in like a second.
Freaky
after.
fast, huh?
freaky fast.
Yeah.
So they hired all these kids, and then like the buzz kind of died down, and then like a bunch of people just kind of had not a job anymore. Got fired.
So
Yeah.
what's the? I've never been to a Jimmy John's. I only know it as the logo on
Dude,
Brock Lesnar's fight shorts. What's Jimmy John's gimmick? I know he's a big trophy hunter and he likes to hunt endangered species. But what's
You don't see that so
what's the
much
big-
in the stores.
what's Jimmy John's angle?
I think it's that they're kind of like. I mean, a lot of the signs in there say the customer is not always right. Like it's like
They're a little abrasive.
they're like trying to be a little, I don't know, avant-garde within the fast food.
They deliver or cater or something, and I think
cater,
that's a
yeah.
big part of it.
There's one that just opened here up at it's Vermont and Wilshire.
Oh, no
There's
kidding.
there's a Jimmy John's. Yeah, we can go there right now.
Because I actually got a gift card.
Let's fucking go.
Well, no, I spent it down in where the hell did I spend? Augusta.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But I have an uncle that's obsessed with it, so
Yeah.
I got a gift card and I went to it.
We're just out of their delivery range because I've asked. Because I'm a
Oh,
big.
damn.
Yeah, I know.
The other thing is you get your food real fast. Like you order it and you don't even have time to take a piss, and there's your sandwich.
Yeah.
You're
totally.
right. I mean, if you deliver for them, you're required to run from the store to your car and your car to the person's front door.
What?
Yeah, that's like a company requirement or whatever. I didn't.
Do they make you run in the fucking parade?
No, they do. The kids, not all the kids were
That would
fit
be-
enough to
that
do
would
that.
be great.
They have you running the 5K in the clogs with your Jimmy John's sandwiches.
It'd be great if, like, everybody's gathered around for the parade and the Jimmy John's people come running by, and then the actual parade comes by like 6 minutes later. That'd be a good gimmick,
They're
man.
throwing out the pickles and the chips and stuff.
Yeah, throwing out Slim Fives to the crowd.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's weird because it's like less customization too than like other. I mean, like you don't. It's kind of like you pick a number and like add or remove things rather than like make it all. But I don't know. People are nuts. Like people are like the way that they're nuts about like Chipotle, even though Chipotle's got some E. coli shit going down.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a similar fan base.
I've never understood the appeal of Chipotle because it's the most bland crap. I've always preferred Qdoba myself.
Yeah. I like going to Chipotle just to get the chips and guacamole. Because that's a whole, it's $3.75 and you can cut the whole line. You can just
I do that
You
too.
can cut the line.
You just walk straight up to the register and go chips and guac and boom, then you got
It's
your
real
stuff.
bland. People must think it's healthy because people will eat rat shit if they think it's healthy.
Well, in this case, it's literally shit in it.
I don't generally eat meat, so it's if you eat beans
That's the
and
toughest
rice,
way anybody's ever said that.
It's like you're the graveliest voice.
It's like, yeah, fucking Batman.
do. I like Tyrannosaurus generally.
I don't like fucking meat. Get away from me.
I don't like their meat that much.
Yeah,
at
that's
the
so
Chipotle.
it makes it a little bit more easier to tolerate because
it don't taste like meat.
because you don't put the meat in there and the meat's kind of.
Oh yeah.
Did you do deliveries for Jimmy John's and be subject to the running?
I did, but I would only run from the store when my boss was watching.
Yeah, of
I
course.
didn't. Yeah, when you go to someone's house, I'm like, I'm not gonna, especially if it's a long driveway.
Yeah, of course. Did you have any like weird like people that would order regularly?
It was like the creepier looking people that I never knew lived in my town that would order.
Yeah.
For sure. I feel like I had interactions of note, none of which are occurring to me currently. But I was only there for 2 months.
Oh, okay.
Because I hit a car, which you're not supposed to do.
It turns out you can't do that.
Even at
Driver.
Jimmy John's.
even when you're going freaky fast, they also like didn't. They were like, we can't make you speed, and that was the end of the sentence. Like,
Wow.
so I honestly was.
Maybe you didn't hit him fast enough.
We can't make you speed, but you'll suffer if you don't.
I mean, I didn't tell the police officer this, but this is the truth right now. I hit the car because I got distracted while I was singing "Always Have to Steal My Kisses from You."
Ben Harper made you crash the car.
I looked like I was singing. I looked away and I hit, and I didn't hit them that hard. I just felt like that wouldn't be like relevant exactly. But
You didn't want that in the affidavit, you mean?
Don't blame it on Jimmy John's.
Yeah.
I should have been like
Jimmy John's told me to.
pressured me.
They made me do it.
Yeah. We used to.
And then claimed whiplash.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
the people in front of me they were like, we're fine. And then the cops showed up and they were like,
My neck!
fuck.
Oh, my back, my neck!
Yeah.
Yep. Classic.
Little shitheads.
I used to work at Hungry Howie's, and we used to have to deliver to this lady. Her name was, I would be shocked if she was still alive, so I'll use her real name. Her name was Jimmy White, and she paid with checks. It never tipped, and you could hear her coming to the door.
She paid with checks for pizza?
Checks.
Delivery?
Yeah, so she used to call Hungry Howie's, and she would just be like, hello, yeah, this is Jimmy White. I'm a diabetic. Do you have anything I can eat? And I would just be like, no. Like, just straight up, no. We have salads. And she's like, what kind of salad? And I'm like, well, we've got the Greek salad. That's probably the one you want if you've got diabetes. We also have the chef salad, which has ham, and the antipasto, which has salami. And they're like, ooh, I want the antipasto with the double salami. And also... And then
We got her to call in.
And then she would order...
I want a pizza.
And then she would order like
a salad on
no,
it.
for real. She would order like steak and cheese sandwich. By the way, the sandwiches at Hungry Howie's weren't really sandwiches like you and I would think of. They were more like it's basically a calzone. And but she would order like the she was like I want the steak and cheese calzone, and I also want she had no teeth. She was like I also want the antipasto salad with 3 times the amount of salami that normally comes on it. And we'd take it to her house. She was Jimmy White. She lived on White Street and at the corner of White and Bragg. And I'd knock on the door and you could literally hear her come just like like this monster slowly coming towards the door, and she would answer the door, just no teeth in her like moo and just be like, "Oh, thank you," and just hand me the check with the exact amount, never a cent fucking more, 1108 exactly, and then just boom, slam the door in my face.
She was able to get the steak and cheese sandwich, the antipasto with triple salami with delivery for 1108.
Well, sometimes she would just get the salad. If it was just the salad, it'd be just the sandwich. So if she just got the sandwich, it'd be 1108.
So basically, she sounds a lot sexier on the phone.
Yeah, exactly.
Did she ever castigate you for not putting enough salami on the triple salami?
No, I never.
Go ahead.
She didn't leave a tip, so
Yeah, no, fuck you. Yeah, so that's what I say. I mean, I guarantee you she's dead because this was 9 years ago. There's no way she lived past.
Well, it's such a small town. Maybe you should ask your mom if Jimmy White.
If Jimmy White's still around, there's no way.
We can have her call in.
I want her to call in because I would just want to hear her wonderful voice.
You could always tell because she just had this like horrible like pained bridge.
Yeah, it sounds like me when I come up the stairs.
Right? Yeah, she was Darth Vader with her mask off, basically.
There's nothing more annoying than general managers at franchise or managers at franchise chain stores.
Oh yeah,
like a Jimmy John's or a Papa John's pizza.
Stakeout.
Yeah, no, not Stakeout because it's not a chain.
It's a small chain.
I don't know.
There's like 8 of them in Alabama.
But the thing is that it's just like, they're so into the company line. They're just like, yeah, you got to live this. You got to live Freaky Fast.
Yeah. Oh, God, yeah. Oh, yeah, especially when they first open. If you're like one of the first people working at a place and everybody's so gung-ho about the stupid company mission.
Because it's all about a pyramid thing where they're just like, you have to understand, Papa John started making pizza at the bottom.
Yeah,
and then he made a company.
Yeah, always. Well, with Stakeout, my guy, I remember he wanted to make sure that we were all sweeping properly. So he hid a ketchup packet underneath the make line. And if it didn't get swept up at night, we would have a meeting. And he'd just be like, guys, Ronald Reagan. And then he would start talking about the Reagan administration.
Whenever people start out glorifying Reagan, it's like, holy Christ, what kind of hell am I in?
But he's talking about a goddamn ketchup packet under a make line. And he would be like, well, Ronald Reagan set several goalposts for Gorbachev, okay? And if he didn't meet those goalposts, he was punished. And last night, I left a ketchup packet underneath the make line, and you guys did not reach that goalpost. Because I found it there this morning. That means you haven't been sweeping under the make line.
Like the worst Santa.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
I had a friend that got canned from delivering pizzas at Papa John's because he didn't wear the Papa John's belt.
They have a belt?
They have a belt. Like they have an
Like a
approved
title belt and rock.
Dude, that'd be amazing. And it's a spinning pizza.
But no, it's like a belt. It's like a doo-doo khaki colored belt that has the Papa John's logo that goes all around it.
I was hoping it'd be like, burned in there, like branded in,
Yeah.
like a Western belt. That'd be amazing. If it said Papa John's and shit.
Actually, isn't Jimmy John's a thing with like the franchisees too? Like, aren't most of them all franchises except the original or something?
I think so.
I think so. The guy who started ours was a dude named Steve who left some other job.
It's always a Steve or a Rob.
Yeah. But he looks like a guy. I don't know what he left, but he looks like he'd be like a lawyer or something very like white collar administrative. But he's a guy who left whatever he was doing. Must have been something like that.
Of
and
course.
he was like, "What do I want to do with my life? I love delivering pizzas as a teenager, so I just want to like own a restaurant. I've always wanted to do that."
Yeah.
And he's still there, like killing it, loving it. But yeah, he was very like, just like, yeah, when we say freaky fast, do you think we don't mean swiftly? Just like lots of slow emphasis.
Oh God.
Company motto.
If you're not freaky fast enough, get your keister to Quiznos.
Oh yeah, I was assistant to a video producer in college.
In Pella or
actually, this is in Iowa City, and he did 2 documentaries for HBO, which I think he's just like one of them was on Dan Gable, the wrestler.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Iowa.
Who's like the king of Iowa?
The king of Iowa. Yeah, people do like worship him. Dan Gable, not my boss, but
was it like a real wrestler or a pro wrestler?
An Olympic wrestler. He won.
Okay.
He's considered to be the greatest amateur wrestler of all time, and he also coached the University of Iowa's wrestling team.
Is he the Foxcatcher guy?
No, that's Dave Schultz.
Oh, okay.
But he's considered to be like God. He was like kind of the greatest athlete to come out of Iowa, and like during his time, he was like this mythical.
Until Seth Rollins comes off the shelf.
Yeah.
Well, he's got better credentials than because if he's better than Carl Gotch, then he's better than Seth Rollins.
Well, no, the Iron Sheik always talks about him.
Yeah, he does.
I coached 1972
Dan
wrestling
Gable.
team with my coach Dan Gable.
So that guy. You work for a guy making a documentary about them.
yeah. And this
Did you interview the Iron Sheik?
can I what?
Did you interview the Iron Sheik?
Oh man, I wish. We did more like commercial stuff for like the university and like different. I don't know. We did some stuff that was cool, but a lot of my time was just like he'd be like, come in at 10, which I knew meant like come in at 11, and then I come in at 11 and I'd like edit something for him on Final Cut for a little bit, and at like 12 he'd be like, "We get lunch," and then he'd just like buy me lunch, and we'd come back at like 4 p.m. And he'd be like, he hated the university so much, it's turned into this giant corporation like college has as an institution in this country.
Of course.
And so he'd just be like, "Yeah, just mark that you worked like 12 hours a day," and that's what I
He was
did.
up charging him like a lawyer and shit.
Pretty much, like and they were like edging him out of like, like they like shut down his video department and like launched this like very PR sort of thing that was separate, that they didn't want him to do as much because he would do fun. He actually just did another documentary on like a Jackson Pollock painting that was housed at Iowa. And like they don't want funds. They just want him to make commercials and stuff like that.
Shit to show during the football game.
Yeah, so I was like, I don't know. It was like a divorce, and I was like the kid that he's just getting back at his ex with.
Yeah,
sort of.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. So you went to Iowa, or you went to Iowa State?
I went to Iowa. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So there's the little heat between you and Lopes about that shit, right?
Yeah. Whenever you see me and Lopez not getting along, it's about school rivalry.
Oh, that's great. I feel like there's something there with that, and then me, Wes, and Joe being Alabama fans.
Trying to compare Iowa State to like Alabama or Auburn in any sport. That's
well, we did take Iowa State's coach off their hands a couple of years ago.
You did?
Yeah.
Gene Bliznick.
Chiswick.
Whatever.
Yeah, Bliznick.
Bliznick.
People are still mad at him.
Well, good. We are too. Oh, the basement. That was the other.
Oh, the basement. Yeah, I guess I first mentioned that was like our hub. That was where we were before that. We broke the car. But my friend Nick, his parents had this big basement that they never came down and like there's no rules and there's a bunch of TVs.
You need that, yeah.
Yeah, I guess the only other cool thing that there's a lot of dumb hijinks and stuff, but like when we were back from college, we would still hang out in the basement and stuff. Like my 5th time smoking pot, I remember in sequences picking up the DVD copy of 40-Year-Old Virgin, and then like holding it in my hand, looking at it, and then the next thing I knew it was flying out of my hand, and it smashed into his $800 TV. Like I broke a TV with a disc while high.
Shit.
And I was destructive.
Was this on purpose or just slip?
All I remember is like picking it up and throwing it, and like then immediately after.
What kind of weed do they got now?
I was gonna say.
I don't know. Man.
I gotta get me some of that. No, not near my TV though.
Yeah. They call it the Hulk.
His parents were so rich that they just didn't care. Like they were like, oh, the kids were messing around, boys being boys.
Oh, Jesus.
Like his dad would always be like, oh, is this a real fight or is it just boys being boys?
Y'all just tussling.
Just like boys being boys. But the basement was great.
That was one of my favorite things when you'd be like fighting with your friends or something, like wrestling around the ground. My mom would just come in and just be like, hey, quit tussling. And she would kick us. And that's still my favorite.
So she was stopping your fight with like kicking you?
Yeah, I remember specifically me and Nerm Sturgis were on the ground fucking like I was trying to choke him. I was wearing a wife beater, brand new. I was so proud of it. And Nerm Sturgis dumped. He spilled.
You know, there's 4 more in that pack of 5, right? But they sell them in 5s over at Kohl's. You understand that, right? There's 4 other ones.
But yeah, Nerm was like, I don't know what. We were fighting over a bottle of red cream soda. And the red cream soda just went all over my wife beater. And so I took it off and started strangling him with it. My mom walked in and was like, hey, quit tussling, and just kicked us until we separated.
So you didn't
You
kill
were
him.
a little jerk growing up.
He really was.
Yeah.
Every time you hear a Rivers child story, he's friggin' awful.
I know. What a little hellion there.
I know. What the hell changed you? Smoking a shit ton of pot and listening to fucking Fish or whatever the fuck you done in your college years?
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Well, I mean, hell, it calmed you down, Rivers.
Yeah.
Now you're a sweetheart. But back then, look the fuck out. You probably would put glass in this damn sweet tea and called it ice.
Boys will be boys.
Boys will be boys.
And
boys will break
and
the
I
TV.
love how it was the 40-year-old virgin. It's just like,
Yeah. It broke, and my friend was so drunk that like he was in a different room. There was a room that was just for smoking pot and playing ping pong.
And this was in
stuff.
college that you.
This is at his house back in our hometown, but we're coming back from college.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and so I went back into that room where he was playing like beer pong and stuff, and I was like, dude, I really fucked up. I broke your TV, and he was like so drunk, he just kept thinking it was a joke. He's like, oh no, man. He's like, that's crazy. And then like he walked out into the main room, was just like, oh, and he like sat down, and he would go back and forth the whole night between like kind of being freaked out about it and just being like, dude, fuck it, doesn't matter. But yeah, it was kind of like I didn't smoke pot for like 2 years after that because I was just like, I am a monster on it apparently.
Turn into the Hulk.
Yeah.
Just Hulk out and break TVs.
Well, whenever you have a bad experience on it, the best thing is to get back on the horses immediately.
That's what I should have done.
When I pass out from smoking a little of it, the first thing I do is have another hit just to make the hair of the dog kind of thing.
Right. We had the cops once bust a party before college, and they found a water bottle bong, and they told us they were going to do DNA testing on it.
Oh yeah, I love that.
Nobody took it serious. Like we were all like, Jesus. Like he came out and he's like, who's got the marijuana?
Yeah, just tell me.
I love that. I love when you're a kid, when they bust up parties like in high school. The only thing that you do is run.
Oh yeah,
That's
totally.
your only mechanism to do it. Run! It's like, where? I don't know!
Just scatter.
Yeah, and it was like always, like when I was growing up, it was always the woods that were proximate to the house.
Yeah.
That's the best place to hide.
Yeah, you hide in the woods proximate to the house. That like if the cops like went out of the backyard into the woods, like maybe 5 feet, he'd find like 17 or 18 like teenagers.
Yeah.
Huddling down and stuff like that.
Dude, I got away with it one time. I was running from a party because the cops showed up. I was probably 15 or 16, and I just like hid in the little like, you know how they'll have like the dumpster in apartment complexes that's surrounded by a fence, like a big wooden fence will surround a dumpster. I was like hiding in between the dumpster and the fence, and the cops were like busting up this party, and a cop just like walked over there, and he saw me back there. He was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" I was like, "Oh, hi. I was just I was actually, it's kind of embarrassing. I was taking a pee. I was just walking to Burger King. What's up?" And he was like, "You weren't at this party just now?" I was like, "Oh no, there's a party?" He was like, "No." I was like, "No."
Like you would get arrested for that.
Yeah, exactly. And he just like he was
like
he
if
just
you were
let me
in
go.
the house, like you would get arrested for that.
Well, like we said earlier, all the juvenile stuff, it all just rests on that foundation of, you think you can get in trouble, but you really can't.
There is no trouble. Yeah.
I remember when I was in college, I went down to visit my friends that were at UCF, and we were having a party. It was somebody's birthday, and we actually kept it pretty tame.
Yeah.
But it was in an apartment complex, and the person had some really bad neighbors, and they called it a noise complaint. And this cop came in. He was built like an egg, a giant, like Humpty Dumpty, but he was like a bike cop.
Yeah.
So he had like the shortest biker shorts ever.
Oh, a
but he
bicycle
was like,
cop.
Yeah, but like I don't even
the
think
ultimate indignity is
But I don't even think he was a bicycle cop. I think he just wore the shorts
liked the
like
shorts?
yeah, like Lieutenant Dangle. And he like walked in and he's just like he made the bust of the century, I think, in his mind. He was just like, "All right, I know there's drugs in here. Do you guys have any marijuana? Or do you have any ecstasy? Or do you have any rock cocaine?" It's just like, what?
Just listing everything.
You think Rick James was at the fucking party?
And he gave me a field sobriety test. I was sober as a friggin' judge.
Yeah.
And he was just like, "You're intoxicated." And I'm like, "I'm not wearing my glasses. So, when you do the pen thing, my eyes do fluky stuff."
Yeah.
He's just like, "I don't care if you had your glasses on. You were too drunk to drive. You should be at the hospital." And I'm like, like what? Your parents should be ashamed of you. I was like, I'm 20 years old.
Yeah.
I'm DDing,
Yeah.
I'd love to hear his version later to the boys back at the office about what went down.
There was this smart ass kid who didn't put his glasses on. He said he didn't have his glasses on, but he was blasted on rock cocaine. I've just remembered.
Oh, yeah.
one exception to the running in the woods thing. There's this kid named Dan that the cops came in and he was like drunk. And he jumped in the pool and hid in the friggin' pool.
Oh, man.
Like the cops wouldn't see them because he was submerged.
Did he have a long straw or something?
Dude,
He would pop up from time to time when the guy, and then like if the cop turned around, he'd go right down. The cops were just so amused by it that they didn't do anything.
The one question I did have for you, so Andrew in his episode 20 mentions that his ruckus crew would show up to parties and throw water balloons and poop at party goers. My question for you: were you ever at a party that was bombed by the ruckus crew?
No.
Fuck.
Unfortunately, no. I
3 years younger, right? So
yeah, like Andrew was a senior and I was a freshman, so
Okay.
So you missed out on the flying shit.
yeah, you
I
missed out on
missed
being
out,
hit by
man.
poop
I love how there was water balloons
and poop.
and poop.
yeah, you could have a really
the most
innocuous,
innocuous thing, or literally like the
Well, was there piss in the water balloon?
no, that
It was just water balloon. He just was like, "Yeah, it's water balloons and poop," and I was like, well, "What?
What is this
Where
town?
did this poop come from?"
Yeah, how
Maybe they
much-
brought a gorilla with them or something. You just had them fling
that's
shit.
my favorite part about it. If you listen to episode 20, like there's so much shit involved. I'm like, what were you guys just like fucking chugging Metamucil and shit? Like, how are you guys producing enough poop to biologically attack
They were just-
a million parties?
They were just pounded Dukalax.
Yeah.
Well, he never said how much they have. I
Right,
mean, maybe that
right.
was like a special thing.
Yeah, Yeah, that was
You're like, we're not getting him with the water balloons. Time to break out the shit.
right. Yeah, they saved that. That's like the Grecian fire at the end.
Yeah, exactly. It's the secret weapon.
Yeah, no, those stories were actually new to me when I listened to Andrew's episode.
Oh, okay.
Because I knew him through like music shows and stuff.
Oh, okay,
like,
gotcha.
And the newspaper, the school newspaper. I didn't hear about
The poop.
the poop.
The poop
Yeah.
attacks.
I mean, I knew he was like
All that school newspaper was not getting the real story of
I
what was
know.
going
we
on.
were missing out.
Yeah,
dude.
you missed a cover story there.
Yeah, clearly.
High school seniors attack with shit.
Yeah, in this era of 24-hour media, still the shit slinging goes unnoticed.
Yeah. the great Pella shit.
Yeah, I know. And Andrew Lopez covering it up like Silvio Berlusconi. The Pella High School Times, you know.
Take me home to the flatlands, good old welcome Matlands, where the waving fields of wheat say, come back soon. Come back soon. Take me home to that little town where everyone's your neighbor and the family ate dead chickens every Sunday afternoon.
Eric, where can people find you on the internet, sir?
I'm at Eric Terry Moore on Twitter. That's TERRY. Yeah, I think just that. I mean, that's my Twitter and Instagram. And I don't.
Well, the real question is, where can we find you at the Dutch Festival this year?
Man, I haven't been in 2 or 3 years. I think I should go back this year.
It's
you have
called,
any-
it's called the Tulip. What's it called?
It's called Tulip Time. There's. I think this is going to be.
With Tim the Tulip Man Taylor.
I think this is going to be the 81st annual one. There's another city in Iowa called Orange City. It's the only other place in America that they do a Tulip Time.
Named after William of Orange?
Yeah, I don't know.
From the Netherlands?
Yeah.
Wow.
Could be.
Dude, is there like a rivalry? Like our tulips are better than yours? And
Oh
shit
no,
like that?
Orange City kids are much sadder than they come here.
They're
'cause,
even more emo?
Well, their school's smaller and even more conservative. Their town is like smaller, more conservative. So those
So that's
kids
like
come.
Ted Cruz territory, where like all Ted Cruz's supporters are in the
Oh, I'm
Iowa
sure-
caucus.
yeah.
Is he Dutch?
No, but there's a lot of Trump supporters in
Yeah.
my town.
We'll find out.
We will.
I can't wait.
The time draws nigh.
Get some of them Dutch Fraulines or whatever they call them.
All right. Well, you can find us on Twitter at The Goods Pod, Facebook.com/The Goods Pod. Rate and review on iTunes. That's what we like to see. And you can holler at us and shit. I'm at Rivers Langley, at Really Pat Riley. No?
How do you say goodbye
Good
in
night,
Dutch?
Daddy. This is Tim the Tulip Man Taylor for Tulip Time. All right. And song of the week this week. This is Robert Ellis, and the song is Good Intentions.
I don't care how wrong it is, I've got good intentions, and I just can't hide it anymore. I made my decision. You pull that collar around my neck and you bring me to your whisper. You say the things I wanna hear. Don't do this to me, sister. Don't do this to me, sister. Oh, don't do this to me, sister. I don't care how wrong it is, I've got good intentions, and I just can't hide it anymore. I made my decision. Your hand up on my chest and your eyes are filled with laughter. Your lips are wet, your hair's a mess, and I know just what you're after. Oh, I know just what you're after. intentions, and I just can't hide it anymore. I made my decision. Oh, I don't care how wrong it is. I've got good intentions, and I just can't hide it anymore. I made my decision. Oh, I've made my decision. Yes, I've made my decision.
The Goods from the Woods was mixed, edited, and distributed by me, Rivers Langley. You can find the show on Twitter at The Goods Pod. Our theme song was composed by DJ Smiles. Check him out on Twitter at DJ Smiles.